All right, quick update on the fitness journey. So I got a little bit of good news and a little bit of bad news. And then I got some kind of neutral news. I'll start with the neutral news is I do not have the bicep measurements for you yet. But I haven't really been editing these videos. It's just not really the intent of these videos to be some highly edited production. But I might put a chart up here. I'll probably put it right about there if I do. Showing the bicep measurements, because when I do the bicep measurement, it'll be the third one. So that's the neutral news. We don't know how I did there. The bad news is I've kind of been stuck on the weight loss for the past couple of weeks. In the first video, I told you that prior to making these videos, I had dropped from 263 to 247, so about 16 pounds. So that was awesome. I was making awesome progress, but I don't know. We did have the holidays in there where I ate some holiday meals and stuff. And I do think that I have lost like a half a pound, but it definitely has I've kind of hit a plateau here. So I'm probably going to have to look at the diet because I'm basically, I told you guys 247 because I thought that I would lose a couple pounds and it wouldn't matter, like the fractions. But I was basically at like 247.8 and now I'm at like 247.2. So I've lost like a half a pound since the last video. So not really what we're looking for, not the end of the world though. But the good news is I think the last video I told you that on the bench press I had done 225 times 8. Well, then the next week I did 225 times 10. Then I did 225 times 10 again. And so then today I went up to 235 and I did 8. So I'd say that's progress. I mean, it's pretty close, like 225 times 10 and 235 times 8 are pretty similar. But, and in the, I actually realized that I think I was telling you before that the calculator was saying I could do 300, but I didn't believe the calculator at all. And I believe the calculator even less now because I went from 225 times 10, which the calculator said I could do 300 pounds at that point. Well, then I went to 235 and did 8, and now it says I can only do 291. So 235 times 8 is at least equivalent to 225 times 10. I don't think it's a drop off. I think if I had done 225 today, I would have gotten 10 or at least 10. Might have gotten 11. So the calculator actually seems to be biased towards higher reps. Like if I grabbed a friggin' 185 and did 20 reps with it, it might have said I could bench 320 or something. I don't know. Which is the opposite of the way the body works. To get stronger, you lift heavier weight. So, but the calculator gives you more credit for lifting lighter weight. So it doesn't really make any sense. So that's it. That's the update. And then I just wanted to make a random thought because sometimes I have random thoughts. I watch a lot of fitness stuff, and then when I'm in the gym, sometimes I'm thinking about stuff. So I had two thoughts about working out. One of them is really like minor, nitpicky, and people might disagree with this. But I've gone over this in my head, and I've really come to the conclusion that in almost every case, in like 99% of cases, maybe not that high, maybe it's 90, but in a very high percentage of cases, those clips that some people are obsessed with putting on the bar are either totally useless or actually a bad idea. Now, the reason why they're totally useless is I can't think of any exercise. I'm sure there are some exercises, but I can't think of a single exercise where the likelihood of your plate falling off the bar is greater than like less than 1%. I mean, I've just never seen it happen. And I don't think it ever would happen. And if the plate slides a couple of inches, that might like bother some people that have some kind of OCD or something, but that doesn't impact anything. So they're just pointless. Like what exercise are your plates literally just going to slide off? I don't know. But if you do somehow think they're going to slide off, I guess there are some exercises where it's like, it's not going to be necessarily a detriment to use it. But the times where it could be a detriment to use it is that in most cases, in the only instances where the plates would come off, you would want them to come off. And that's to say that the only time the plates are really going to come off is when you intentionally get them off, when you tip the thing so much. So bench pressing, if you're bench pressing at home without a spotter, which you should never do, by the way, like 99% of weightlifting deaths at home are caused by people bench pressing without a spotter and the thing falling on their neck. So that's just something you should never do at all. You should always have safety pins. But if you stupidly decide to do it, you should absolutely not have clips on the bar, because you want there to be a way to tip those weights off. So I mean, just a little pet peeve, because some people, I had this guy spot me last year or 2 years ago, the last time I was lifting, and he was a personal trainer. I asked him to spot me on the bench, and he went up there and he basically like lectured me that I needed to put the clips on the bench press, and I just complied because I'm not going to cause trouble in the guy's gym, but that's stupid. There's no reason to put clips on a bench press, and there's actually reason to not put clips on a bench press. Now, I was getting a spot from him, so it didn't matter. I didn't need the clips off, but I didn't need them on either. So I don't know, just a random thought. And then I also had a thought, because I have an issue where my left bicep is significantly bigger than my right. And it's about an inch bigger. And like when I flex them, you'll see the measurements if I put them in the chart or if I just tell you later. It's an inch. It's an inch bigger, which is significant. Like that's a visually discernible difference. And so I've been going over, I've been reading things about it, the theories and stuff. There's a lot of different theories on, why this happens. Particularly what's interesting is that it's my left bicep that's bigger, which is my offhand. So my dominant arm is actually smaller. And I read the different theories that are out there. Like, I mean, the biggest one and the most obvious is just a genetic difference. People are just born with certain things genetically. Nobody's 100% symmetrical. Even the most beautiful people in the world who have very symmetrical faces, it's not perfectly symmetrical. And even, champion bodybuilders have asymmetries in their bicep. Not in their bicep, but in their muscles in general, sometimes in their biceps. So that's the number one thing. But then going beyond that, they've talked about your dominant side might be smaller because it gets used more, which sounds counterintuitive. But if you know about weightlifting and bodybuilding and different muscle fiber types, the type of fiber that gets developed when something's used a lot at a low intensity is slow twitch fibers. And the type of fibers that are developed when you do high intensity for low volume is fast twitch fibers. And it's the fast twitch fibers that make you big, The example everyone always cites is if you look at a marathon runner. Well, a marathon runner uses his legs constantly. You would think that if it's just a matter of volume, then he would have legs bigger than a bodybuilder, but of course he doesn't. Obviously a lot of that's that he burns a lot of calories and he doesn't, intentionally ingest tons of calories and tons of protein and everything. But beyond that, it's that the slow twitch fibers don't grow big. They're built for endurance. So if your dominant side is getting used all the time, just in everyday life, that can cause it to develop too many slow twitch fibers and it doesn't get as big, even when it's doing the same weight training as the other side. And I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I hate to say it, but I'm on the computer way too much, I play computer games. I love historical computer games, and I'm sitting there like all day with my right hand on the mouse. And I was like, that could be it. And that could very well be it. But then the other thought I had just now, this is my insight that I haven't read anyone else talk about, so it could be dead wrong, but it kind of makes sense to me, is that one reason your dominant side might be smaller is that your dominant side is neurologically advantaged, right? That's why it's your dominant side. So your right side is capable of being stronger at a smaller size because it has the neurological advantage, I posit. And so when you're training, even when you're trying to correct this imbalance, you're trying to correct it by making each side equally strong, right? So you'll start with your non-dominant side. Usually a good idea because that's your weaker side, right? So you say, I'm going to do 10 reps. I'm going to make it so I can just barely do 10 reps with my non-dominant side. And then I'm going to go on my dominant side and I'm just going to do 10 reps. Even if I could do maybe like 11, 12, I'm just going to stop at 10 reps because I want them to be equal. Well, the problem is you're making them equally strong. You're making them equally able to do those 10 reps. But your dominant side is can do more reps because it's neurologically advantaged, not because it's bigger. And so what happens is, in order for you to reach that parity of both sides can do the 10 reps with that weight, your non-dominant side is going to have to develop a bigger muscle because it's neurologically disadvantaged. So that, to me, it's interesting that I haven't heard anybody give that exact explanation for this problem, because that makes a ton of sense to me. But yeah. So about what to do about this weight loss thing. I don't know. So there's two things I can do. I can just stay here at maintenance because I kind of feel like I have a lot of diet fatigue. Like when I think of the idea of like, okay, so I'm stuck on 247, I need to drop my calories by like 300. That idea feels devastating right now. It's not an idea I'm excited about. So I have to make the decision of whether that just means, tough shit, I need to do it, or that means that I need to take a diet rest. Not like eat like bad stuff. Stay at what I'm doing right now and just accept that I'm going to stay at 247 for maybe a couple of weeks and then find a way to cut those 300 calories. So I need to decide that. Like I mentioned in the last video, there's still some things I can do. Like I've gone from whole milk to 2%, now I'm on 1%. But I'm still doing full fat cottage cheese, and I'm still doing flavored Greek yogurt. So I think that going down to like a 1% cottage cheese and plain yogurt with just some protein powder in it, those are two things I can do. But I'm struggling with cravings at the end of the day. Like I get to the nighttime and I just want to eat something, and I'm eating light popcorn and stuff. I'm not eating anything bad. It's just that you can still eat too much of good stuff. Sometimes the good stuff is just not filling you enough and you just eat too much of it. So it's tough. I mean, at my age, it is definitely tough. And I'm dealing with this psychological thing where, like, I want to build muscle too. I want my bench press to go up. So whenever I'm hungry, all I can think about is that my muscles are wasting away. I could deal with the hunger if it wasn't for this psychological thing where I feel like my muscles are rotting away. So that's a huge challenge when you're trying to like lift weights at the same time as you're losing weight. But I have to just overcome that, because losing this weight is a lot more important than the weightlifting. Like for my health and everything. Like I have to get, my brother dropped dead at 56 from a heart attack, and I'm only 9 years younger than he is. So I kind of take that as the message that I have 9 years to get myself healthy. So I'm just going to have to accept that I'm going to have to be hungry. And really, logically, your muscles, as long as you met your protein number for that day, and as long as you're still pretty overweight, your body's not going to be going for your muscles for those calories. So I just need to understand that. But anyway, we're going kind of long for this kind of video. These things are, I think, only like 8 or 10 minutes. But if you made it this far, appreciate it, man. You might as well comment. I mean, honestly, I'm expecting 0 views. I'm expecting 0 subs. I mean, this is not high effort. This is just something I'm doing to keep myself accountable. But if you did happen to make it to this point in the video, maybe you're actually interested in this kind of thing, and let me know what you think. If you're going through the same kind of weight loss journey, or you're into bench pressing or whatever. All right, peace.